Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
💂💊💂💏
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and you can't even see me. What the? Boom, there I am. How you doing, folks, on this fine Monday? What a nice Monday. We're going to have it. We're going to take it easy on this Monday. It's going to be loosey. It's going to be goosey. The goose is loose. Hope you had a nice weekend. I sure did. Many of you were with me over the weekend, and we had ourselves a little Nick Stream weekend. It was fun, and I appreciate everybody who joined me. That's why you want to hit the notification bells. You're missing out. We had amazing moments. Don't judge. I know it's all strange sometimes. There's planes flying. People are talking about hot dogs. They can't stop saying the G word, pass or not. You're getting all jagged up in your head. You're getting hypnotized by my voice. And there's even moments that even in between the chaos are beautiful moments even sometimes. That was fun, huh? Anybody who joined me, shout out. Appreciate that. You want to hit the notification bell. You want to hit the subscribe button. That way you don't miss it when we take the flights and when we go into the internet and speak to the people. What a fun time. VR hot dog adventures. We were in a therapy room. We were in a virtual strip club. It was, look, we got into hijinks. There was no nudity. Despite what anybody might tell you, there was no nudity. So don't go looking for a mess. Okay, we had a fun, mostly family-friendly time. And you don't want to miss it. Look, it's Nick Stream, okay? The sun goes down, your kids should be in bed. But we had a great time. What else? It was we did the flight. We landed. It was a hard landing, but we landed the plane. We're living, we're alive. We lovingly call those soul plane landings. But we're alive, so stop complaining. Appreciate you tuning in today. How was your weekend? Nice church, great shows today so far. If you want to call in, by the way, 888-775-3773 if you want to jump on there. Get in on the conversation. What's on your mind? In fact, I even see a couple of super chats. Hold up. 💂💊💂💏 coming in with the super chat. Thank you for that. Kicking it off here. Showing a little support. You can super chat. You can buy me a coffee. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. If you want to buy the Anchor Baby a coffee, I had a pretty interesting coffee, in fact, from Matthew on being in a strange time and the internet and all that, wanting to abolish it all, wanting to abolish the internet, shut it down, bring us back to simpler times. What do y'all think? Is it time to shut it down? Bring it all back? You got to churn your butter? You got to, I don't know. We're not going back. We're not going back. So it's time to become masters of this domain. But appreciate that, Matthew. Nick, we're in a strange time in history. The internet was supposed to make the world smaller, bring people together. It's done the opposite. Do you think we should abolish the internet? No, we need to conquer the internet. The new frontier. You know what I'm saying? But we'll be getting into some stuff today. Look, I think I want to kick it off with some mess from this woman, this joyless woman, which I think will be a nice way to kick off the show here. Because there's some stuff on my mind. Where are the conservatives? What's going on? Where are the Christians? Everyone's talking. We got shows. Everyone's got a show. But what are we about? So I got things on my mind. We might even get a little aristocratic today. We might get a little aristocratic today. Goog down 4% for being woke, says Rich in my chat. You're talking about the stock? The Google stock is down for being woke. I guess he's commenting on the faux pas recently with Google and their unveiled Gemini AI. I told you about this the other day. And it being so anti-white and censoring, and you'd ask it to generate an image of an Irish person in the 1900s, Vikings, and it's like black Vikings, Asian Vikings, everything but white. So, yeah, Rich, I don't know if it's woke. I don't know if it's just woke. 4% for being 4% for being evil. Maybe evil. How about evil, hateful, anti-white, anti-Christian, maybe? We can maybe even stretch that. But thank you for the comment there, Rich. If you want to support, you can't always support monetarily. Jump in the chat. Jump in the snake pit. Leave a comment. That's an interesting comment, though, Rich. It kind of has to do a little bit with this Joy Reid clip going around. I don't know if you've seen it. You know Joy Reid. MSNBC. She's got the hair. You know her. That black woman on Joy Reid on MSNBC. Just a peach. A total peach, right? There's a clip going around. I don't know if this is if it's old, but it's getting attention. It's got the viral clicks. It's going around. Joy Reid explaining, remarking a little bit on I believe a senator or representative's comments on babies, having babies. We need babies. You hear that, right? You hear that from the right? That we need more babies. They're not having babies. Pardon my interrupt. I'm interrupting my own thing here. We're getting to the clip here with Joy Reid. Latine in my chat. American anchor baby, what state or country do you live in? Sacramento. On October 10th, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a crucial #MeToo bill. You don't say, Latine. You're still evil for judging him. That doesn't change that, Latine. Joy Reid. Let's get to Joyless Reid. And her commentary on babies. Look. Like I set it up, she's remarking, she's commenting, responding to, I believe, Tuberville. He's a Republican. We've heard of his name a little bit. I don't know too much about him. Had to pop in, Can't do that without the pop. Let's watch Joy a little bit. Let's watch what's going on here with Joy. Let's get into the show here.
The United States has a population of north of 327 million people. Why do we need more kids? I mean, your party, Senator Tuberville, is the one screaming that 10 million immigrants, which I don't even know that number even makes any sense because it doesn't, have streamed into the country since Joe Biden has been president, and you're claiming that that's too many people, that if more...
pretty evil to have to throw in that doubt about the numbers and all that. I was considering not playing this whole thing, but let's just let it play.
People come into the southern border. This is some sort of crisis because we've got too many people and we've got no more space and we can't afford more people. But now you're saying we need more kids? Can you explain who's the we and what's the purpose? You're also a senator from the state of Alabama. God help the people there. Are you saying the state of Alabama needs more kids? Why does the state of Alabama need more kids? More kids for what? There was a time when the state of Alabama absolutely needed more kids because, Alabama was a slave state. And the mandate of the planter class in Alabama was for black women to produce more kids because those kids were property and they could work more kids and make more money on their plantations. Are you saying the state of Alabama needs more kids because you think that those populations will include people who are maybe destitute and desperate enough if you kick out the immigrants like a lot of y'all want to do, and you could make them do the work that the migrants are doing now?
What is this stretch, Joy? What is this? Look, I get it. Okay, let's bring up American history, this horrible thing. I don't even know what does she say is true about this mandate crap. But let's that happened, right? So I'm Joy, right? So that happened in history, right? Is that what you're trying to do? Huh? Ergo, are you trying to enslave people, you racist?
Because that kind of sounds slavery-ish.
There it is.
Is the state of Alabama the we? And is that the why? I mean, you're also a white guy. Are you saying the we is white folks need more kids? Is this like a great replacement thing where you're concerned that there's not enough white people in the population versus the growth of the Latino population, the black population, the Asian American population? And so the we is white people need to make white women have more kids? And that's the we and that's the why? Because it's a little creepy. A little Handmaid's Tale-y, don't you think?
Why? Why? They love making babies. Just, even if they're yelling, kick and scream, they'll love making the babies. They'll love it. Look, I'm playing you this clip because that's for those that I guess know a little bit. She's throwing all this doubt to the numbers and the crisis, so-called crisis. She's acting like this credulous. Whoa, what is this crazy thing Republicans are talking about? And obviously that's silly. I'm playing you this clip mainly because there is only one reason why she can come on a camera and speak in this way. How do I describe what I'm trying to describe? What she's doing there, okay, so she's lying about all the numbers and the doubt, and that's its own mess. You could be like, no, Joy Reid, you got the stats wrong. FBI, blah, 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 blah. You could take it there. You wouldn't be wrong. This woman's lying. But here's what she's really doing. She keeps asking, more kids for what? Why, Senator Tuberville? Why? For what? Well, you don't realize, that's actually a dare. She's actually daring Tuberville and white people, okay? She's daring them to say what you mean. You can say what you really mean, okay? And if you don't know that that's what she's doing, then either you're ignorant or hopefully you're a woman and not worrying your pretty little head about this. Then that would make sense. But that's what she's doing. She's doing this daring thing. And she knows that you won't. You won't. She knows that Tuberville, she knows that Republicans, white people won't tell her the truth. Yes, Joy Reid. We want more white babies. So, and that's the whole kind of gambit here, or I don't know, that's the whole trick here. That's where all the power, that's where all the authority and power lies in this, in that exchange, in that relationship. This woman knowing that you won't say the truth. You won't say the simple, honest truth, which would make them run away. Or like, oh no, you racist? And then that didn't matter to you. It's like, no, I don't care if you call us racist. I don't care if you call me hateful. America should remain majority white. There should be more white babies. So she plays this goading game. It's like, say what you mean, Senator. Do you mean more white babies? Is that what you mean? Because you're getting a whole bunch of people with your immigration, which is fair. Joey's on it with that because Republicans don't really care. They don't really care. So lobbing at them these dirty bombs of slavery and all that is messy. You messy person, but these Republicans, it sticks with these Republicans. They don't really care. They don't really care. Many of them benefit from the pilfering of America. But that's really why I wanted to play that for you there. It was mainly for me that spirit. And if you just faced it, if you just said the truth without fear, it's maybe not that bad. You know what I mean here? That's really what I'm trying to describe. Because it's clear that, at least to us, for us on this side, conservatives, that she's wrong about immigration. Duh. But I just wanted to point out, though, maybe something not so obvious. The spirit here, this woman here, all her power is coming from just the weakness of men, the fear of men. You see what I'm saying? Do y'all see what I'm saying? 888-775-3773. Speaking of woke Google and the hatred of whites. You know what I mean?
Senator from the state of Alabama. God help the people there.
No.
Are you saying the state of Alabama?
No way, Joey.
Kids?
That's fake. That
Why
was
does the state
fake.
of Alabama need more kids? More kids for what? There was a time when the state of Alabama.
No way.
I
do not believe. I refuse to believe that we have racists online adding smoke detector beeps. See, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. I keep encountering these racists, these out of control, they call themselves free speech absolutists, these psychos, going around putting smoke detector chirps on videos of black people. It's ridiculous. Chirp. Absolutely. I refuse to believe that. That's obviously right-wing propaganda, and we're going to move on from that because that's fake news. There's no way the smoke detector chirped on Joy Reid. Well, obviously it didn't. That had to be fake. I played you the clip earlier. What an absolute mess. Stop. Don't laugh. Stop it. Don't laugh. Way too close together. You guys caught that. So why do we know this? Why are we so... We shouldn't be attuned like this, folks. I think this is some of that unconscious bias they talk about. You see what's going on here? This is what's going on here. You hear a smoke detector chirp, and your first inclination is, let me time the chirps to see if someone's faking it. It sounds like we're getting some Pavlov's dogs thing going on here. Some conditioning is happening here. Stop. We're not laughing about that. We're moving on. You people. But you got Joy Reid. Obviously lying, right? The spiritual thing too, that's pretty cool. The woman and the authority, the false authority there. But then I'm reminded a little bit of Matthew's coffee that he sent me. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. Strange time, he says. Do you think we should abolish the internet? I bring that up again because I'm just, I guess, I'm pondering on what it is. What's the response here? What's the response to the Joy Reid, to all this stuff? Is it outrage? Is it going to be, you see what I'm saying? Like outrage? Is it just going to be us? Like what's happening? You know what I mean? That they're taking children away from parents because they wouldn't use trans pronouns, okay? Joy Reid, we're laughing it up, we're yucking it up. Look at this ridiculous woman. And then we turn around and it's like, oh, they're marching kids away from their parents. Yeah, but Joy Reid, do you see what I'm saying? Catholic Indiana, they're Catholic. Catholic Indiana couple appeals to Supreme Court after their child was taken away because they wouldn't use trans pronouns. I'm sure some of you probably have heard of this whole Mary Jeremy Cox story. I think I even brought it up recently. Not really getting into it, but just mentioning it here. Because what's the response, right? I'm seeing things like this. Anybody know who this guy is? You may have heard him mentioned on the Hake Report today. The pro-life Spider-Man. You ever heard of the pro-life Spider-Man? And he's this guy. He's a pro-life guy. Christian guy. Now, I think he's a liberal. I think he's like a liberal or something, but I don't know. I don't know if he's a liberal to just our eyes or if he's just like actually a liberal. But he's like a Christian too. You know how you can be a Christian liberal and you're like, oh, I protect babies in the womb, but I don't know, you're like evil in every other way. Because you're a liberal, right? You know, you think all your feelings is love. That's pure evil. But I don't know. I think, don't quote me on this, he might be like a conservative, like somewhat. So this is the pro-life Spider-Man. He scales buildings to get all this attention for the pro-life cause. But it's not just that. You see this guy when he takes these climbs, really, they are dangerous climbs, where he's risking his life. He does it for example, in one of these climbs, he was like, I'm doing this for, and then he says some name of some woman. And if I remember, it sounded like some really foreign name, like Masabuta, blah, blah. And he's up there and he's like, I'm doing this for her. She was going to kill her baby. Okay, now I'm adding to it. Now I'm being comedic about it, but it's something like this. It was like, hey, and she was going to kill him. Like, she's going to murder his baby. Like, she doesn't want him anymore. And she's about to kill him. Like, and then I'm like, wait, let me climb a building. Before you do that, wait, miss, I see you're about to kill your child. Before you do that, let me climb a building and let me convince you otherwise. He does these causes and he's like, oh, I'm doing it for her child. And so now she's not going to kill her baby because I climbed the building. You see what I'm trying to say here? Like the logical disconnect seems to be a little bit of a disconnect for me, personally for me. Because before you were going to climb the building, she was going to kill the baby. So what changed? What changed? Dang, that is a really tall building, though. All right, I'll let you give it a shot. I'm bringing up the pro-life Spider-Man too because let me show you this clip and maybe you can kind of sort of start to see what I'm saying here, and then I'll tell you.
In May of 2022, I climbed the New York Times building. I'd wanted to do a link-up, which in climbing jargon means to climb 2 mountains in a day. So in just over 24 hours after climbing the Salesforce Tower in San Francisco,
it's crazy.
I found myself on another one. The New York Times building is not a very impressive climb. It was first climbed in 2008 by my hero Alain Robert, and then subsequently repeated by random crazy people.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you and Alain Robert... oh, my bad. I got you. So you and this guy, your hero, this French guy, this French guy who'd climb all these buildings, he's, got a lot of attention for that. You and Alain Robert, you guys are saying, these are just some crazy bums. No, but you guys are trained professional climbers. That's, to be fair, I guess if you wanted to differentiate these people physically, Alain Robert and the pro-life Spider-Man are... they are trained professionals, right? They have trained for this a lot. They got the chalk. They got the shoes. They've climbed the buildings. I don't know what to tell you. So maybe these bums aren't trained professionals. I just find it a little funny for that juxtaposition there in the clip. I climbed it with Alain Robert. And then these just random crazy people did it. Not us, though. We're not crazy. The mind and the heart, right?
Although easy, I thought it would make a great building to raise awareness for the Justice for the Five movement. I didn't quite make the 24-hour cutoff, but I started the climb early in the morning anyway.
So Justice for the Five. Justice for the Five. I don't know much about it, but just a cursory look earlier. It's about some like death penalty case. And I don't know. When you look it up, it says like the Fife people coming up for justice 30 years later. I'm like, something's going on. Maybe I'm ignorant. I just don't understand. Justice for the Five. Key facts. I look up Fife and I look up Five, and they're two different things. And in the clip here, it's spelled F-I-F-E. Justice for the Fife. I think it's F-I-V-E, though, because this is about abortion. Key facts about the discovery of aborted babies in D.C. Okay. Well, there you go, folks. Appreciate you doing some of this live research with me. So he's doing his cause for those aborted babies, and they came out that they were actually selling body parts and stuff. Pretty nasty stuff. Pretty crazy. But I'm bringing this guy up because I'm looking at the movement. The conservatives, the Christians. And I just say, What's getting done? What do we do? Are we really any different? Are we really just emotional, like feel-goody type people? Is that what we're about? We're just feel-good. We're just feel-good, but we just call it Christian. We like the colors red and blue and white. We don't like those words. We like these words. But we'll still get mad at you. We'll still do we'll do strange things that I think you can only conclude is reasonable in your crazy mind. Thinking that you're changing anything. You're changing hearts because you're climbing a building. It's incredible. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, right? We're talking about purpose. We're talking about motivation. And we're talking about results. That's what we're talking about. So yeah, are we different? Like what really makes us different? When people come to us and become conservatives or become a Christian, what are they getting? What are they really getting? Are they finding freedom? Or is it more emotion? Is it more of the same crap? I'm seeing 42% of Gen Z. 42% of Gen Z diagnosed with a mental health condition. Obviously, surveys, stats, and all this crap. Take it with a grain of salt. Who knows what they mean, right? Severity comes to mind. Fudging the numbers comes to mind. This whole industry behind giving a name to just like spiritual illness. And in a weird way, excusing bad behavior and reinforcing things that are evil. Right? Because you get to call it something. You get to go, oh, I have ADHD. No, he's not a badly behaved child. He's got oppositional defiance disorder. That's a good one. That's an amazing one. So take it with a grain of salt. 42% of Gen Z diagnosed with a mental health condition. That's conservative kids. I know this. This statistically speaking and anecdotally speaking, just using your plain eyes, the kids are not okay. And Christian, conservative, doesn't quite matter. They're just as weak, right? They still have kind of problems, okay? And it's even showing up in some of these possibly fake stats and all that, but they're metrics that we could use. And it's such a funny paradox, kind of. Putting the most attention ever into mental illness and health and the well-being of your children. And I think we're raising or has been raised the weakest, more mentally ill, unstable generation is being raised or has been raised. Would you say? Can we say that? I guess you're following me here a little bit, right? 888-775-3773. Autism. It's a card to just spoil your kid and just do whatever you want. And not only that, you have the backing of academia and the medical community. So imagine that. Years ago. I don't know. Just think about that, how it's changed. Years ago, you didn't have an alternative, I guess. And then you started paying attention. You started giving everything a name. And you got all these problems. And so you started hyper-examining the kids. And instead of someone telling you to stop, you had the whole medical community backing you. You're right. Your kid, it's not your fault. It's not your kid's fault. You got oppositional defiance disorder. So you see what I'm saying here. What's the response? I'm going into these VR rooms. You missed it on Saturday. And I'm going into the therapy rooms. And people are going through, young people, everyone, they're going through the same thing. Everyone's going through the same thing. The thoughts, you're believing the lies of the thoughts. The emotions got you in a whirl. You think that's real. You think it's you. It describes your experience, and so it describes your beliefs, and so it now And now you live through that. And everyone's doing that. And if you caught it on Saturday, you would have seen an example of that. If you hear the calls on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, they're all going through the same thing. So let's try and reorder things here. Oh, conservative, liberal. For me, my life is becoming just aware and not aware. Like everything. Either I am or I'm not, and everything about my life and everything I do is a question of that. Was I aware or was I not? Let's reorder things here in our perspectives. We might be doing that here in a bit here on aristocrats. I think I want to get into that later. And you don't even know what I mean. I'm just rambling. 888-775-3773. You'll hear about it if I get to it. Look, you get it a bit. Anybody see this Shane Gillis thing? I feel like this can kind of segue into this a little bit. If you don't know who I'm talking about, Shane Gillis is a comedian. Shane Gillis. He was also live on Saturday. Just like me, a competitor of sorts. Shane Gillis was on Saturday Night Live. Who watches that? Never watched that personally. I don't know about that. Never. I don't remember any golden years or anything like that. It's a black hole for me, Saturday Night Live. But over the years, you hear that it's getting woke. Comedy is dead. You can't say what you used to be able to say. Look at these. Saturday Night Live is just shilling for the Democrats and Biden. And so that's my experience with Saturday Night Live. So Shane Gillis apparently did some monologue here, did a little comedy for Saturday Night Live, and people are saying comedy is back. Comedy is back, and Shane Gillis brought it back. Shane Gillis. I've seen him around. He's pretty funny, I think. But if you don't know, they have a little bit of a saga, a little bit of a history. Shane Gillis was fired by Saturday Night Live 5 years earlier, 5 years prior to this appearance this past Saturday. It was over racist and transphobic jokes 5 years ago. So the day comedy died, I don't know. But look, he comes back, he does this monologue, and, all eyes are on him, right? Because it's like, you came back after they fired you. What's he going to do? Is SNL going to let him? Are they going to keep a short leash? I'm seeing some of the response from people. And I don't know. I don't think I could play any of this. I feel like Saturday Night Live. I feel like Saturday Night Live is the type of media content that gets like flagged for like blocks. You know what I mean? I might be able to play a snippet, like a couple seconds here, but before I do, people are saying comedy's back. Because apparently he's joking hard on the joshing hard on the Down syndrome people. Apparently, he did a little cheeky nod to getting fired from SNL. Doom Jesus says it's always been dog-ish because it's on TV. Well, there you go. So anyways, Shane Gillis, SNL, big return. I saw a bit of it. I don't even know why I don't watch SNL. It's just on my Twitter. And I'm happy I did because there was an interesting part there. And we'll get to that. I don't know if it was really all that tough. I mean, but I'm kind of biased, right? I'm kind of off the deep end. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of like too far gone. There's no helping me. I was in a bookstore the other day, and I was an absolute menace. God, I love being me. I was an absolute menace. I was like, excuse me, do you have a Dostoevsky's Diary of a Writer? I didn't ask that to anybody. I was with somebody. I didn't want to embarrass them. But I was going around. I'm just like, excuse me, I'm looking for a copy of the Protocols. It's my humor. I'm having fun, okay? So maybe I'm biased. But there was an interesting bit he did on mothers. There was actually a fascinating little thing on mothers and this joke he did, okay? I think I could play you a little bit. So he kicks it off. He's making fun of his dad for being like a high school gym teacher. for women or something like that. And the camera pans to his dad, who's in the audience. He's like, "Hey, I'm just making fun of my dad, huh? I thought that would hit better." Something like that, right? I think that was a little bit of like this liberal crowd probably, maybe I'm reading into it, but I thought you guys would love to hate on dads. That's what you're all about. So that was just a side note, but the part that was interesting was this bit on mothers and being best friends with your mom. Let me see if I'll play a little bit here. I think the worst case scenario is my show gets like a block after the case, and then I can just cut it out, and then it unblocks it. I'd rather avoid that, but it's just so fascinating. Let me kick it off a little bit here.
She's like, "When did we stop being best friends?" My mom asked me, she's like, "When did we stop being best friends?" And she's right. We used to be best friends. You remember that when you were a little boy and you loved your mom and you thought she was the cool. You remember when you were gay? You remember when you were just a gay little boy? Every little boy is just their mom's gay best friend. There's literally.
I don't know. I don't want to play anymore. So yeah, Saturday Night Live, Shane Gillis. That's the bit. He goes on a little bit here. It's pretty funny. You remember when you were best friends with your mom? You were her gay little best friend. And he goes on. He's just like, yeah. And she would play her music in the car, and I'd be like, yeah, girls just want to have fun or something like that. I forget what he says, what song it was. And he's like, yeah, girls. And he would gossip with his mother. Well, he didn't say gossip, but he would tell her his problems, and they would just talk. It's like, so, like, how was work? And I forget exactly what he says, but you get the vibe, right? And I thought that was a really interesting little bit. That may be that might be the beginnings, the rumblings of actual. I don't know who Shane Gillis is, so please, with a grain of salt. Maybe he's not a conservative. I don't know. But I'm trying to describe the necessity to be real but to be real and make stuff. You saw the pro-life Spider-Man. You've seen the MAGA rap. You've seen the Make America Great Again rappers. What the heck is that? Can we get some real funny stuff and real art and whatever? You guys get what I'm saying here. I'm saying this might be the rumblings of that, because Shane Gillis, in my opinion, wasn't like this. He wasn't that tough. He was like, ooh, whatever. That was his kind of whole vibe. Well, I'm going to say this quietly because it's naughty. I don't know. Low bar for me, but it was an interesting little bit. You are your mom's gay best friend. Look, I don't know if I was ever like singing songs with my mom or anything, but yeah, I remember giving her the rundown and telling her my problems, telling her my day. It's an interesting bit, and I think a little bit closer to hitting the nail, hitting the bullseye on how do we get the 47% of Gen Z diagnosed with mental health condition? How do we get possibly the weakest generation incoming? And people like Joey Reid can rule with an iron fist and effectively. How's that even happening? Because you sang songs with your mommy in the car ride home. Okay, maybe not exactly that, but maybe it's a little bit more like a spiritual thing. You got to forgive and overcome the spirit of your mother. But you guys get what I'm saying. When I'm at my church, my 2A coming. Okay, I actually like that one, though. Everything is fake. Actually, that one's a pretty tough. That's a pretty tough one. That's a tough one. That's a tough song. That song goes hard. When I'm at my church, my 2A coming. Everywhere I go, my 2A come. Nice. My mom and I would watch movies on HBO and eat cauliflower with ranch. Good times. It's comfortable. You're a little boy. It's like comfortable times, but it's taking the joke too far. You feel me? What are you guys saying? Let me check my chat. Just been an insane person talking for 40 minutes. What the heck is this insane person talking about? And why do I have all these people watching me? Appreciate it, though. I got, hey, what's up, Lucas? Nice. Hake with the super chat that I missed last night. You rock. Renesio with the triple coffee. Right on. Thank you for that. Buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. Renesio writes, yo, Nit, I missed JLP show. But good fellowship Sunday. I like the part when you guys talked about being annoying and mongoloids. That was funny. I thought mongoloids were just Mongols, like the Mongolian people. What's a mongoloid? Mongoloid, I'm a mongoloid is a song. Old-fashioned term for a person with Down syndrome. My bad. I thought it was all the Mongols. Interchangeable, you think, maybe? Mongoloid? That's a joke. That's a racist joke. The Mongols still exist, right? We shouldn't be talking about them like that. Mongoloid is an obsolete racial grouping of various peoples indigenous to large parts of Asia. Ooh, that's from Wikipedia. Don't get mad at me. I didn't say that. Wikipedia called them that. I didn't call them that. Wikipedia called them that. Don't get mad at me. Don't shoot the messenger. Why is Nick going to hell? Wait, all of a sudden I'm going to hell? People in my chat are saying I'm going to hell. What did I do? This is a pretty chill show, I think. Mongoloid. Okay. Stop freaking me out, okay? Anyways, I'm showing you Shane Gillis too because kind of like the side narrative here too is the response, right? I'm talking about Joy Reid, but yet they're effective. The side narrative too is the response here. You had SNL going along with the, being an avatar of this censoring spirit that wants to just stop free men from talking. You had Shane Gillis, a victim of that 5 years ago. You had those people, the Saturday Night Live, who committed that. And you have him reappearing on this stage. This is maybe too poetic and too deep. Obviously, the guy he's trying to get his career, keep his career. Now, you got to understand that, I guess. But you see what I'm saying? This is the response to that demon. Anyway, Shane Gillis is a funny guy, I think. But anyways, we just got to be unafraid when some woman like Joy Reid is like, what do you mean? What do you mean? White people, what do you mean? Babies for who? White babies. White babies. Babies for where? America. So not foreigners. Babies, so like babies from other places, like foreigners to enslave them? Not necessarily, but if that has to be done, then so be it. Yeah. So what kind of babies? White babies. Because you don't want America to be not majority white? Yes, that is exactly why. That would be a bad thing. That would be a very, very bad thing. That would be a very bad thing. You know what else is a bad thing? Well, I don't know if this doesn't look like a good thing. Welcome to Wait a second. Why are all these Indian guys, why are they dressed so warm? I see some Asian. Wait a second. I don't think this is Calcutta. I think I see North Face jackets. What am I seeing? I see fur. I see fur around these people's necks. And I see, and I saw, and I thought I saw. No, in fact, I did see the red logo of the TTC subway. This is, in fact, a subway train in Toronto, for sure. This is the subway train somewhere in Toronto. I don't know what station this is. It looks like what? Spadina? What station is this? Union Station? No, this is not Union Station. What am I talking about? Union Station has the platforms on the other ends. Shout out to the Toronto subway system. But I've never in my whole life seen it like this. And my years growing up in Canada as an American anchor baby in Canada, I never saw the trains like this. What is this, Japan? You know how they stuff them in Japan too? But they're all polite over there. And they wear gloves, the officials, and they push them all in and they pack them like sardines. I'm telling you, folks, I've seen busy subways, rush hour, but what is this packing where you can't even like go in and out of the carts? I remember when my uncle first came to Canada. We had arrived. The Gonzalez family arrived as an immigrant beachhead in Canada. What a mess! And but they did it the right way. Bless them. They are now Canadians, and they're up there, and they were a beachhead to other Colombian family members. They brought them over, and I remember an uncle, and we went to the subway trains, and I remember my uncle. I was with him, and he was gonna take his first train ride with me. And as soon as the doors opened, I remember him just pushing through the second they opened. And he just pushed through. Everyone was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Everyone was like, slowly, they were like getting out of the car, going in a respectful way. And I'm like, Uncle, you're supposed to wait till everybody who's trying to get out of the carts to leave, and then you can go in. That's like the courtesy. And he's like, oh, okay. And I remember we waited for the next car. And as soon as the doors opened, boom, boom, he's pushing through everyone. And I'm like, I was just amazed. I just remember telling him, like, yeah, you got to wait. And it just didn't hit. It did not change his behavior. It did not hit. I was a little younger. Maybe at this age, I'd be like, why? I remember asking all these questions in my mind. I never asked him, though. But why? And to this day, I'm incredulous even. Why, Uncle? Why? You looked me in my eyes and you said, okay. And then you did it again. That's why you gotta have patience with people. But look, you see what I'm saying here? The courtesy of waiting for someone to leave the subway car. This is a societal thing. Look, Joy Reid. Okay, Joy Reid. Look, I have no problem with this. Joy Reid. Yes, more white babies. Because this is a mess. Look, I've never seen anybody where are my Canadians in the chat? Am I looking at this with rose-colored glasses? What am I looking at the Canada that I left in 2019 differently? Or has it always been like this? Couples Light in my chat says there are still good people. Who? Which ones? Which good people are you seeing, Couples Light? Because that's an uncle's job, Nick. No, what do you mean? Maybe you're misunderstanding the story here. That was totally not courteous. Nit's family pooped the subway, then fled the country. All your Canadians in the chat are trapped on the subway. Tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's always been like this. I don't remember it being this Indian either. I know it's been growing, but look, I'm just commenting. I'm just remarking on what I'm seeing here. Okay, folks, don't get mad at me. Just being honest. I don't know about you guys. That's egregious. You guys are just totally chill with that story. Like, whatever, you're just pushing through. That is egregious. And if you don't agree with me, then you don't care about society. You probably leave your shopping carts everywhere. If you don't care about my uncle pushing through those people as much as I do, you don't really care about saving America. 888-775-3773. What a mess. If you have to get on a train to go to work every day, you deserve it. It is a punishment from God, so embrace it. Funny. Pretty soon they'll be riding on the top, just like in Mommy India. Oh, man. I'm just catching up with chat. So true, everything is fake. These people roll deep. They're always like 30, 40 deep. Didn't Shane Gillis start pushing Bud Light with Kid Rock? Is that true? Matt living the dream. Nice to see you there. Wait, so I really can't say the M word? Mongoloids? Oh, thank you, Terry Strange. Terry, you're in here, Terry. You get me all freaked out. 1 second, I'm going to hell. 1 second, I gotta examine myself. What are you talking about, Space Cadet? What's with all this scripture? Mark 10:18, King James Version. And Jesus said unto him, Why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is God. And I saw. I'm just messing around with my chat here, doing a little antagonism with my chat here as we're having ourselves a fine, loosey-goosey Monday. There's a couple of things I want to get into. Moving on here. I think, what a shame. The Canada Metro. Supreme Court readies for major social media free speech battle. Still kind of thematic, still kind of fits here. They're having another one of these big old spats. Will anything come from it? It just might. What I'm commenting on is the number of House committees and oversight committees that they've done where they bring Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg or whatever, and they put him before they bring him to Congress or something, and they bring him and they question them and they do this whole show. And just as the years go on, the censorship gets worse. It's been an interesting battle as of late with X and Elon Musk and all that. And it's kind of felt like a little bit of a culture shift, a switch here a little bit. I'm seeing things getting banned on TikTok. I post things on TikTok, for example, that get banned, and it won't get striked on YouTube, on Facebook, obviously on X, but I mentioned YouTube because it used to be really strict. So I'm describing this shift in public perception. People are a little bit more aware now of the dark nature behind mass media right now. Some are even aware, many aren't, but some are even aware at the level that the government is playing and intelligence communities are. For example, the Hunter Biden laptop story. Oh, don't post that. Remember, they went to Twitter and told them, you can't post that. During an election year. Imagine that. So this might be a little bit different, though, because this has to do with the Supreme Court, and they're going to have this battle over whether states can limit the ability of social media giants to moderate content. It could turn apps like Facebook into more like a newspaper. So yeah, what's going on? The High Court will consider whether Texas and Florida can tell social media giants how to operate. Supreme Court on Monday today. The Supreme Court will debate the fate of laws passed by those states to limit the ability of social media giants to moderate content. Republican lawmakers in Texas and Florida argue that social media companies have been too quick to throttle conservative viewpoints, something we've known. The trade groups representing the nation's social media companies, as well as the Justice Departments, say the Supreme Court should strike down the state laws because they are an infringement on the company's First Amendment right. You know, if you remember, this aspect of the censorship, free speech conversation was brought up a couple of years ago, and it was centered around what these companies are. Are they the public square, where it constitutes basically a sort of public forum where you are exercising your free speech, and any censoring of that would be an infringement of that? Or is it more of like a newspaper or publisher where these companies are then liable for what they put out, right? You see what I'm saying? As opposed to a public square where anybody is putting up their stuff and there's little to no moderation, as opposed to, well, if you're going to moderate things, well, now you are responsible for what you're putting out. Therefore, you are now, whichever company is in question, is now not infringing on the First Amendment rights of their users / publishers. You know, see how it changes. You're not a user anymore. You're now just a publisher or whatever, publishing your news and your opinion. So it wouldn't be an infringement because this would be a private company doing what this private company does, publishing this media. But it would make them liable, right? It would change certain things where now they would be responsible. If someone put out, I don't know, a call to action and, you know, some court case could conclude that it was because of this post that this person went out and did this crime, and now you, Facebook, you're responsible for that. And so a lot of things come into question here. That's why this coffee from earlier from Matthew is important. This is the frontier where we should be planting our flags. Because the Joy Reids are doing it. They're out here. They're doing it. They want to control the conversation, what you can say, what you're allowed to say. And as things get freer, if you notice, you know, by freer, I mean, you know, more decentralized, where think about X.com. Think of, you know, I was talking about Gemini the other day, the Google AI, and really any AI generation service, image generators, text generators. If you notice, you leave them to their own devices, they're racist, they hate women, they're anti-Semites. I'm talking about the AIs and really anyone with free speech. And so you're seeing these censors come down hard. So that's why it's important to be a part of this. But what else? What else? Supreme Court, yeah, so they're going to have their thing here. The trade groups represented, wait, hold on. Just as the government may not tell the Miami Herald which editorials to publish or MSNBC which interviews to broadcast, the government may not tell Facebook or YouTube which third-party speech to disseminate or how to disseminate it. Fair enough, but it can't. There has to be a big change then on what these companies are and what they're allowed to do, I guess. Because a newspaper isn't the public square where they want everything sterile, yeah. I got some calls here, though, 888-775-3773. I got Aaron out of New Jersey. Appreciate your call.
Hey, sir. How you doing? Can you hear me okay?
I'm hearing you fine. Thank you, Aaron. You're on the air.
I understand that you're talking about conservative news being censored and whatnot, and I don't want to deviate too far from the topic, so I'll make it quick. I was on social media the other day, and I meant to call into the JLP show and let them know, but I didn't have the time today. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to say I seen a picture of somebody going scuba diving, right? They went down to the bottom of this lake or something like that, and I kid you not, they brought their dog to the bottom of the lake with a helmet and a big thing on its head for air.
What? That's amazing.
They brought a live dog to the bottom of the lake, and they got a photo with it and everything, and they posted it on the internet for everybody to see. And I will let the opinion of the viewers and the listeners come up with what they think of that. I'm sure they could already tell how I feel about it. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to call in and
inform us of the news. Inform us of the breaking news. You know, I've pulled up a couple of videos. It's truly incredible footage. Feat of humankind. And what an interesting life for a dog. What are we doing? I don't know what we're doing. That's amazing.
That's such a polite way to put it. It's such a polite way to put it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I've had dogs, and I don't think it just never crossed my mind to, I don't even like putting clothes. You know, people put clothes on dogs.
No, it's horrible.
And all that kind of stuff.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
But I personally think a dog's coat should be, enough to keep it warm. It's natural coat, and if it's not enough to keep it warm, usually it gets a little bit thicker. But what do I know? I'm just a casual person.
Why are you trying to
What do I know?
gatekeep dogs from seeing the bottom of the ocean and lake? What do you got against dogs seeing the bottom? This is absolutely ridiculous.
I'm a gatekeeper. I'm a self-proclaimed gatekeeper.
This is where R&D money needs to go into the development of dog scuba diving gear. This may have even pushed the scuba diving technology to new heights. Incredible news, man. Thank you, Aaron. I might even have to watch this on stream.
Appreciate it. Have a nice rest of the day.
Take care. Call me again. Oh, Hake's not going to like that click. You're seeing this, right, folks? Diving dogs. You gotta bring them everywhere. This dog's terrified. No, I don't know. Where are the people in the chat? Where are the people in the comments saying, actually, that dog is not enjoying himself? The way his hind leg is propped up that way is actually a sign of stress. That's kind of incredible, though. Thanks to this dog, I think we can maybe assume that scuba diving technology was pushed to a new height. You know, previously, rescuing people from, I don't know, places where you would need to do something like this, the technology didn't exist, and we really didn't care. I'm making this up, by the way. We really didn't care. Rescue people, what? Wait a second. We need to bring dogs down to the bottom of the lake. Money, grants, right away. Research and development, right away. That's an amazing life. What an amazing life for a dog. That's incredible. Human engineering. Speaking of that, speaking of feats of technology and human engineering, as opposed to alien engineering. Human engineering. Big things are changing. Technology's changing. We're putting computers on our faces. We'll be talking to the AI. We'll be having AI wives. I don't know. Life's changing. Fast food is changing. I didn't think I'd have a segue. I never thought I'd have a segue in a million years to show you this. But fast food is changing. Wendy's plots new Uber search style menu where prices jump up and down in line with demand. What fresh hell is this? Please tell. This is the straw that breaks the camel's back, right? Right? This is when conservatives, this is when we get together and we really make our voices heard, right? Because this is a step too far. Uber search style menu where prices jump up and down in line with demand. So you're telling me if I'm trying to order me some good old, some In-N-Out, some delicious bakers, you're telling me I can get hit with a surge price? This is just too far. What kind of world is this? What kind of America is this? Hear me out. This may make sense. Hear me out. That's it. I've had enough. Hear me out, folks. This might make sense. Because you got to understand. Look, here's the surge. Peak price $6.99. Off peak price $4.99. Current fixed price $5.99. So your burger could be $1 more, $1 less. But think about it. Depending on the time of day and what location you go to, not all fast food's the same. Not every location's the same. Maybe you have a well-oiled machine that's pumping out amazing In-N-Out burgers all day. Or maybe you're going to a Mickey D's where it's all these lazy Mexican mamas. Sorry, Mexican mommies. Look, I don't know why you guys have taken over all the McDonald's in SoCal. I don't know where the teenagers went. I don't know what work they found. I get it. You guys are holding it down. The Mexican mamas over here at these McDonald's in my area. But they're a little slow. Okay, so not all locations are the same. Not every food item you get at a certain time is the same. If they can promise, and we're talking like get your money back guarantee that if I'm getting a surge price, I'm also getting the best of the best. I'm getting peak whatever fast food chain I'm getting, S tier Wendy's and not like soggy fries tier Wendy's. Then I think we're in business. You know we talk about the important things here on American Anchor, baby. Who's with me? You know I'm making sense. 888-775-3773. Save a life. Don't eat out. Yeah, Matt. Maybe you're the one who's making more sense than any of us. You don't really need to eat out. You don't need all this mess. But that being said, our thrills are changing. They're gonna change up our thrills and how we get them. So you better pay attention. It's a scary future. I got Justin out of Fullerton, California. Appreciate your call. You're on the air.
Oh, hey, thanks for taking my call. I was just thinking about the statement you made. It's either the platform or the publication with the technology we have with social media. And I definitely think it's publication. It's not a platform, and the only moderator should be the Supreme Court based on the Constitution. And, they didn't really have the technological framework back then. But I think it's more than a newspaper because it's
totally
like an instant, reaction, comment, everything's there. So it's not just like a newspaper.
I totally agree, man. And look, they're talking about, for example, if anyone, I don't know if you caught my stream on Saturday, but I did a little thing. We played a little game called VR Chat, right?
Yeah.
And you go into the virtual world, and you play as a virtual avatar, but you're in a 3D space. So your virtual avatar takes up a virtual space. You see what I'm saying? It exists on a certain coordinate in this virtual world. You see what I'm saying? In that very same way is how we should be thinking about apps, the internet, etc. Because if you allow me to lay this out a little bit, because that's how the big tech people are looking at it. Their eventual end is to have an imposed internet that reflects and corresponds to the physical world. So all that to say, if you're not following, all that to say, I'll make it simple here. Something like Twitter does actually truly become a public square, a virtual public square. You see what I'm saying? Where your speech should not be infringed on.
Right.
And I think it's fair to look at it like that. And what do you think about that?
The internet wasn't created then, and I don't think it would be protected by the Constitution, but the only one that, again, can mediate or moderate is the Supreme Court. So I can see why the trade groups and other groups you mentioned want to, the judicial branch or different groups want to like push that because it might help them. I just find I find it interesting because it can be either, now listening to what you said, it could be either a publication or a public forum, but the internet wasn't back then where
totally.
I don't know, it wasn't
right.
There
so it becomes a little strange. It wasn't there then, but I don't think it's so if I'm following here, right, the argument is, well, is it a private company or not? Can you tell them you have to follow the First Amendment or not? And you're saying they are a private company and the internet didn't exist back then.
Yeah.
And so they're more like a publication. It may end up being like that. And then I guess maybe their business model has to change. But I posit this question because I don't think the Pandora's box is open. This technology is out. AI is out. Social media is out. People have computers in their pockets, and it's ubiquitous. Many news gets around different. So I don't think it's that much of a stretch. I really don't think it would be offensive to the Founding Fathers to say your free speech can't be infringed on, even on the internet.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, the way that people speak these days is through the internet. It's just that whoever hosts it, you know, if it's not like a public utility, that soapbox, you know, that people have is like, I grew up delivering the newspaper, right? So I love journalism. I delivered it. I read it every morning. And I thought about it. It's based on consumer subscriptions. So the more subscriptions the Orange County Register had or the Los Angeles Times had that I delivered, the more circulation, the more subscriptions, whatever, brought more advertisements. So most of the businesses try to be where the eyes are going to be at. And today, the newspaper, which can be in print, like in stone, can be just, it's like a choice. They can, I can look at it, or I can just go look on the news online. And that is not set in stone. It can be altered. It can be changed.
Gotcha.
And those platforms, that own it, they're not like some public utility. They're not something that we granted as a replacement for Town Square. It's just a place that is seeming to be like a substitution and
gotcha.
The devolution of public interaction.
So what you're describing really is not necessarily you couldn't possibly, you're not saying that you can't see the possibility of it being a public square. You're describing, but you are describing your concerns with it. One is the that you can tamper with the internet. That's one of your concerns. Why it shouldn't be a public square, or it doesn't really fit that use case. And you also described another concern. What was it?
Well, yeah, that's probably better to explain what I was trying to say in a succinct way. I just wanted to say that I'm not too familiar with the VR world, but it's again seeming to be like an immersion of replacement for physically being somewhere, and a corporation can be considered as a person. I believe the Supreme Court ruled, so that's why they can say their First Amendment speech is being stifled. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why we shouldn't shy away from these things and think and be willing to think about it abstractly a little bit here. If you can't infringe someone's free speech out in the street in the public square, who's someone out there just yelling or having a conversation, right? Then it becomes that becomes the question. So imagine, like literally in your head, you can probably imagine it like that. Like Twitter is like this open space, and Facebook is a building, and it's a business, and it's like a tall building with like newspapers, and they're putting out publications. Like that's how, in my opinion, we should literally look at it.
Yeah, it's like a convergence. You're talking of like the technology and the.
Yes, 100%.
So yeah, I guess if people's words, not actions, but just their words can be used against them in a court of law. So they should also, allow the freedom to be spoken so the judiciary system can work and not stifle their freedom of speech. Because if something is against the law, it's against the law. And the people that own the platform would be liable. So I think that the entity, the corporation, should have responsibility for what it says, but not its subscribers, its circulation out there, because that's where advertisers are at, and that's just a way for them to skew, like to get you to buy something, to make you think that a reality is a certain way. So the advertise that, and that's what they're doing. Is when you're there, they're controlling your mind. So it's relative to the advertisements on newspapers, but it's more like in your face.
Well, right on, Justin. Insightful. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no worries. And my final thought is Trump 2024. He dominated.
Always.
So I believe we're only moments away to see our president return. Have a good
right on, Justin. Call me again, sir. Nice. And we still roll with Trump. You know we are. You know it. But yeah. Yeah, that, in my opinion, that's how we should be thinking about the internet. The internet, yeah. It's not a product. It's not, no one owns it. It's just the physical world translated. You know what I mean? You should almost look at it like that, like this one-to-one translation, because that's where everything's going. Biometrics, government grants, like we're seeing that. I saw it the other day. I don't have the news for you. I forget. But the big tech, Silicon Valley, and the government working together, they are developing all this. For example, biometrics being linked to you, so you actually can't be totally anonymous on the internet. We'll see how that pans out, right? But that's how it is. That's the direction. The internet is supposed to be, I guess, like a virtual, a cyberspace, one-to-one reflection of cyberspace. So you'll have your biometrics hooked up to your virtual identity. And so when you go to a business to purchase something, that's you. That's your identity. They know who's doing that. And if you commit a crime while doing that, you see what I'm saying? You'll be in a different depending on what jurisdiction you're in. Are you in a public square like Twitter? That's that jurisdiction. Well, you have free speech there. You're in America. Oh, sorry. Are you in Facebook right now? Yeah, they don't allow that. I don't know what to tell you, right? This is all abstract and hasn't been done yet. But I think that's how we should look at it. That way we don't fall into this trap where conservatives will basically vote away happily their rights because, I don't know, Silicon Valley's like, that's our free speech. We're a private company. We're allowed to censor you. And they're all a bunch of liberals. How do you think that's going to end up? Anyways. 888-775-3773. The internet must be stopped before it's too late, says Internet Manster. But you're the Internet Manster. We're all counting on you. You're the Internet Manster, man. What do you mean it must be stopped? We're counting on you, man. We're waiting on you. Anyways, folks, I wish I could ramble on and on with you. I have so many things to get to. Aristocrats. Have you just been listening to an insane person ramble for an hour and 20 minutes? Well, I had some callers, huh? Maybe it's not just that. But we had fun. I know I am closing off the show pretty early. But we have an appearance. Something's going on. I don't know if it's live. I don't want to say too much. Maybe I'm not allowed to say. But this studio is needed. And so I got to go. Folks. I appreciate you calling, supporting the show today, watching American Anchor Baby, being with me over the weekend. I'll be back tomorrow for more American Anchor Baby at noon. But they're shooing away the Anchor Baby. They need the studio. I'll be back tomorrow with more topics and more amazing things. Nick doing a half day. SMH. What a mess. I know. They got me out of here. All right, folks. Let me make sure before I say goodbye that I have thanked everybody here and all the fine supporters. Yes. Let me see here. Hold on. Beautiful stuff. Folks, that's it from me. Catch me tomorrow. Bye.